Hey, we're here for Journal 1, Day 5, or Page 5. So our books are really starting to come together. I like that I've played with a few different mediums. Even though I didn't do that intentionally, it's always just been based on my mood or what I'm, inspired by on each particular day. And it's going to remain true today. Because this weekend I'm hosting an Outside the Lines workshop, which is kind of based on a black background with chalk drawings and then filling in the colored or the chalk areas with paint. I'm going to start by painting this entire page with a solid coat of plain old carbon black paint. I will let it dry and then I will come back and do some chalk illustrations on it for the next step. Remember on the first day I said that there may be days when I feel like using nothing but black? This isn't one of those days, but just applying this black paint to the page kind of reminded me of that comment that I made back on day 1. I'm never really too concerned about affecting the pages beneath the ones that I'm doing. I just think that all really kind of lends to the roughness and randomness of an art journal. So, I know that I'm touching the bottoms of the pages below, but like I said, I'm not particularly worried about it. This is just a place to explore different mediums, different techniques, and to put down my mood or my intentions in an artistic way. So there's my good old black page, and once that dries I will come back for step 2. Stay tuned. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes and the thin coat of black paint is, I would say, dry enough for me to go in now with a piece of plain old white chalk, and I'm just going to do some doodles. I'm going to raise this up so you can see the full page. All right. So this is not my proprietary technique, but it's one that I've seen other artists do, and I think it's really fun and simple, and it affords people who may not have great illustrating experience to just do simple lines and shapes. To get some fun designs. So I'm basically just creating a very simple illustration, and then I'm going to go in here with color as if this was a coloring book. And I'm going to disregard this white line because I want the vase just to sit on top of the table. All right. So I'm going to feel like we need something over here. Just do another loop. I'm going to go and get some paints. Okay, so I went to my studio space and grabbed some of my paints that I use in my workshops. These are by Amsterdam. They're acrylic paints. But for this type of work, you want to make sure that you're using an opaque paint. And on most manufacturers of acrylic paints, they have a color code that indicates the opacity of the paint. So in this case, the solid black square means that it's opaque. And I just brought one up here with half black, half clear. And that indicates that it's a translucent paint. So this particular color I might need to do more than one coat, but for the others that have the solid square, I should be able to just do one good coat. So I just got some pure colors up here because I really just want to play and not be too concerned about a finished piece of art. So I just felt like working with this technique because I'm going to be leading some ladies in this style on Saturday morning. So really, you just want to go inside the areas that you've outlined with chalk. Not going over the chalk, because what's going to happen when this is all dry is that you'll erase the chalk and be left with the black outlines. So the aim here is to actually cover the whole surface with the exception of the white chalk areas with color. I'm not concerned at all with the smears from my hand. I feel like this video is turning into a bit more of a lesson than an art page. I'm just going to grab a different brush. In the case of the stems, you may find that you just want a solid paint stroke, and same with these little vines. I'm really kind of rushing this because it's just meant to be some creative playtime, right? This is not meant to be a formal lesson for you guys. Just another page. I need to paint the sky, or the background, so I'm gonna use this powder blue color that I got. So I'm not getting right up to those green leaves, I'm just coming up to the outside of that chalk line. Again, not really taking too much time because this is just meant to be playful, self-care time. No judgment, no nasty self-talk. Just fun. Nobody else is here right now, it's just me and the dogs. So I can just carry on. Not even concerned with brush strokes. I think that the rougher the brush stroke, the more organic your painting looks. Like, you know, if I was just maintaining an up and down brush stroke on this, it would just look too stiff and rigid. So I kind of like, you know, cross hatching it and just being more random with my brush strokes. So again, getting really close to the chalk, but not going over the chalk. Because I want to be able to come at this when everything is really, really dry, and using a damp, really slightly damp rag, come in and erase those chalk lines to reveal the black underneath it as the outlines of the shapes. So it's going to be really, really rustic, and I love that about this technique and this style. Like, just really whimsical, really playful. You know, because some of these colors haven't dried completely, they're blending into this powder blue that I'm using for the background, but I kind of like that. It lends a bit of movement to the piece, and it makes it not so serious and not so stiff. And not perfect, you know? Like, I don't I don't want this to be perfect. I want it to look really loose and almost juvenile, you know? I just want it to be playful, and because that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to tap into my little girl, my little creative girl inside, and just let her play in ways that, quite frankly, she didn't feel allowed to play as she was growing up. Certainly when I was a little girl, but as I moved into adolescence and young adulthood, I felt like I needed to grow up and be serious and be a business person and get a job and, you know, start a family and all those obligations and expectations that society likes to put on us, but, you know, we allow it. So this is all about me just tapping into that little girl and the artist that I know is inside me all day, every day. Okay, so that's looking super cheerful and kind of crazy and fun and colorful. I'm going to do the background of the table. Not sure what color. I usually do it in gray, but I didn't bring a gray up from my studio, so I might blend a color from the ones that I have here and something for the vase itself. Maybe I'll just do white for that. Let's see what I can mix from these colors. I don't use any purple, so maybe if I create purple, I can do that. One of my favorite things about being an artist and creating art is actually mixing color. I love mixing color. So I'm going to use this mauve color as the table. Mauve is a color that my mom used to talk about a lot. Like that's I don't hear people talking about mauve these days. It's always lavender or lilac. And I'm thinking mauve is maybe got a bit more dusty rose in it, which is certainly what's going on here, but also leaning towards the lavender side of things. What colors do you remember talking about when you were a kid that maybe there are different words for these days? Like burgundy is now more like a merlot or wine color or berry. But I remember burgundy and maroon were color names from when I was younger. Okay, so for the sake of what I have available on my palette, I'm going to do my vase in this mango color. Oh yeah, so think about like the kitchen appliances of our youth, like the 1970s. We had Harvest Gold and I think avocado was the green color and goldenrod was the yellow. So I think the Harvest Gold was kind of that burnt pumpkin orange. Can you even believe that they made appliances in those colors? Back in the day. Now we have stainless steel, white or black. Or if you're really fancy, you can get them done to match your cabinetry, which is kind of cool. Okay, so I'm going to leave this to dry, and then I will come back and show you how to reveal the black outlines. See, so another 15 or 20 minutes, and I'm just going to come in with a dampened paper towel and erase the chalk lines. Check it out! And you're left with this awesome black outline where you had the chalk. So it is by far perfect, by far from perfect. You know, there are some areas here where I got a little too close with my background color, but I love this. I think it's super fun, super whimsical. Clearly you saw how easy that was. Didn't take a lot of time, and you just end up with a real folksy, whimsical painting. Super simple lines. I can go back here if I wanted to and touch up some of these areas with black or with some of these other colors that I've used. But you know what? It's my art journal. It's page 5. What I might actually do is come in and once this is completely dry, because now that I've dampened it, it's you can see some of the color lifted off. It's a little bit tacky, just a touch tacky. But I might even come back and embellish it with some white or some highlights. And if I do that, I will be sure to show you. So that's it for now. Have a great day. Don't forget to do something fun and playful in your art journal today and post a picture of it in the comments. I couldn't just leave it the way it is. Who am I kidding? So I just got my chalk markers and I'm going to just have some fun adding some highlights. And that, my friends, is the beauty of art journaling. You can just do what comes to you, play with different techniques, and see what happens. Oops. There we go. I'm happy with that. Thanks again for joining me and for all your support. I truly love being here with you. Remember to spend 15 to 20 minutes every day. Fight for that time so that you can immerse yourself in creative self-care, creative self-expression. Put on some fun tunes or not, light some candles, have some wine or not. Do whatever you need to do to tap into your creative energy today and every day. See you tomorrow.